Have you ever considered what would happen if you crossed Fable with the Soul series? Well, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today in this edition of Game Pass Plus and Beyond, Stray Blade. Let's get right into it. AfrofishOG. Now, I just want to let you guys know this isn't a full review, this is just my impressions of the game. Now, starting right off the bat here, this game does feel like it wants to be a lot of things. It has elements of Dark Souls, it has elements of Immortals Phoenix Rising, it has elements of Fable, has elements of even something like Star Wars Fallen Order, so they do have a lot of elements that I do appreciate. I actually like all those kind of games, so seeing them rolled into one, into more of like a fantasy RPG is a good time. So let's start it off here with the main character. Now, your main character is Farron, right? And Farron can be created either as a male or female character with a different voice depending on which gender you choose. It doesn't really make a difference because your head is going to be covered anyways with a helmet or something, but it's just cool that you can choose between one or the other. Farron starts off by just waking up in the world, no real clue what's going on, and that's kind of the best part of this game, is you start off not really knowing anything and the story progresses more and more as it goes on. I like these kind of games similar to something like Breath of the Wild. Now it's definitely more linear than Breath of the Wild, but I like that whole kind of drop in and you gotta figure out what's going on for yourself. From what I played, you're pretty much by yourself. However, you eventually do become across a little weird creature named Boji, and his voice is surprisingly deep. I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't expecting a voice like that.
Bound to this valley by the stone in your chest, and leaving it like this would be your certain doom.
But either way, he seems really cool. I didn't get much into it to see what he's all about, but he did seem kind of interesting from what I saw. Now, graphics wise, this is very something similar to Fable. If you ever heard or played the Fable games, they've been out for a long time, but this really does have that feel. As you can see, the game does feel slightly cartoony in a way, but it's weird because it has this cartoony feel, but yet some of these deaths and ways that you kill enemies are far from cartoony. Overall, I like the look, I like the aesthetic, I like the world, and I like the character design, so I think this is just for that alone, it's actually pretty cool. Now, originally, when I talked about the gameplay, I said it's very similar to a Souls, but it also has a feel more of the Jedi Fallen Order than it does the actual Souls games. Now, by that, I do mean you use R1 to use your normal light attacks, you use R2 to use your heavy attacks, you actually can dodge with the circle button, and with the triangle button you can actually parry. Now, what is cool about those is that if you hit the dodge at the right time, the perfect dodge or you perfect parry, you'll actually get your stamina back, which is really cool because just like in Souls games, you will be swinging your sword around and you'll be using stamina for that. In this one too, it's no different. So when you actually perfect parry, you get that energy back, allowing you to constantly keep engaging in the combat. After a couple times of hitting them though too, if you get them in succession, you'll end up just getting like a pure insta-kill moment, and I actually do appreciate that. As someone who can say in full confidence that they're pretty trash when it comes to any kind of Souls-like games, I appreciate this. It's actually a little more forgiving than the Souls games, despite you watching the screen and seeing me take a lot of L's. But the gameplay is really fun. Now, there is actually a crafting system to it too. You, throughout the world, can beat enemies and collect pieces to make new items. Do need to get a blueprint in order to be able to make the items, which that part is not actually all that bad. It seems pretty forgiving. On top of that, you'll find treasure chests with different kind of items and all the goodies in there as long as you explore a little bit. Also, there's a level up system in this game, so there's a lot to actually level up and explore, but I haven't really got very far into it, so we're just gonna leave it at that. This game is kind of linear, but it's not that bad. I wouldn't even call it semi-open world because it really doesn't feel open world much at all. But that was just from what I played. It could actually sprawl out a lot more. Who knows? We'll figure it out later on. The enemies that you see in this game so far I've played has been pretty straightforward. You've had some beasts, you've had some soldiers, like your ranged guys, and they attack very similar to how you would expect in those other kind of games. They have their telegraph moments if you can parry or dodge. fantastic, and then they'll glow red when they're about to use an unblockable attack. That's the one thing I definitely say with this game, is that because it takes so many pieces of stuff, it does feel like kind of the same old, so that could be a turnoff to some people, especially like a really fresh new experience. But overall, it's still a really good time. I've been having a lot of fun with this game, and I am excited to see where it takes me. Stray Blade is on the PlayStation Plus right now, and I highly recommend you picking it up and trying it. Now, what did you think of Stray Blade? Have you played it? Have you not played it? Comment below, let me know. I'd love to hear all your guys' opinions. Be sure to check out all my social media down below, and as always, I'm Taylor from AfrofishOG, and I will catch you all in the next one.